Why? Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Oh, gosh. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hello, my name is Katie, and in today's video, it's about time that I do another recent reads. So I see many people on YouTube they will do weekly wrap-ups, they will do mid-month wrap-ups, and then they'll do monthly wrap-ups. I don't. I just don't read enough in a month, I feel like, to do like monthly wrap-ups, so I tend to do them every other month. The last one I did was mid-July, so I have the last 9 books to talk with you guys. If you've never caught a wrap-up, what I will do is I will start with the furthest book back, which means I probably won't know too much about it. I probably forgot. And I'll work my way up to the most recent. I will let you guys know if I liked the book, my rating, and, you know, if I didn't like the book. However, let's do a little disclaimer about triggers, content warning. If I feel like it's important, I will list them in the description below, because I feel at times trigger warnings or content warnings can be a spoiler for books. And I will talk about one in particular later that I feel like that is. So they will be in the description. If you have any triggers or if you want to check if the book does, they're listed in the description. Okay, without further ado, let's just get into the books, because I have 9 and you know your girl likes to ramble. We're probably going to be here a while. I am so sorry. Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is the July pick for Paige and I's book club. If you did not know, Paige from Paige's Open Book and I do a monthly book club called the Thrilling Romance Book Club, and we alternate between thrillers and romances. So July was a thriller. So for that, we read Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This was our first Geneva Rose for the both of us, and it was okay. We had high hopes because it was blurred by Lisa Joel, and we both really enjoyed the Lisa Joel book that we read for the book club. This was just okay. So in this book, I'm not going to say too much because I will link the live show up in the cards for you guys if you want to go and listen to our like spoilery thoughts. But basically, this is a domestic thriller about 3 siblings who are coming back home because their mother has passed away, and their father has disappeared. Like, I think it's been 7 years at this point. So they have to get together, kind of go through her things, and figure out what they're going to do with the house, with her belongings, stuff like that. And when they're doing that, they come across a videotape from 1999. And in this videotape, they see a very disturbing image of their dad, their mom, and a dead body. So they have to figure out what went on, what was going on in summer of 99. So we get dual timelines, we get the present and we get the past, and it was okay. I think Paige did not like this. I think she gave it a 2.5 stars. I gave it a 4 because while it wasn't jaw-dropping, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I did not see that twist coming. I still, I enjoyed it enough to where it was like, it was a 4. I would recommend it. But now that I'm thinking back, and it's been a while, I would probably say like a 3.5 if I have to reevaluate my rating. But if you're just getting into thrillers, I would say this is a good place to start. So, but I will link the live show if you want to watch all of our thoughts. So from there, look, I don't know what August was. I don't know what was in August's water, but it was the month of continuing series. And I'm not mad about it. So the next book that I read was Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark, which is book 4 in the Brutal Birthright series, which means I am only down to 2 more books. Lord knows, I started this series, I don't remember. Last year? The year before? I don't know at this point. I don't know. But she's getting it done, little at a time. So, in this book, we are following Dante. Dante is the oldest brother of Ada from book 1. And I can't remember what their last names are. Russo? Is it Russo? That can't be. That's the Wizard of Waverly Place, right? That can't be Russo. Why do I feel like it is, though? I don't know. And we are following the heroine, which is Simone. So they meet at the beginning of the book 9 years in the past, when she's about 17, and he carjacks her limo. That's how they meet. And it is very insta love, okay? Which I'm not a fan. I just don't like insta love because it's so unrealistic. Not that the books that I read are realistic, because I read a lot of dark romance and I wouldn't want it to be realistic. But there's something about insta love I just don't like. But this was okay. You know, I love each other, very, very quick. Her parents, especially her dad, he is very like diplomatic in the society, things like that. And of course, our hero here is in the mafia. His family's in the mafia. So they are like, no, he is not good for you. It's not good. She ends up getting pregnant when she's young, and she is going to go tell him. And the night that she does, he comes covered in blood, and he just got in a fight because of the mafia. And she's like, you know what? I can't have my baby and be in this lifestyle and make sure that the baby's okay and safe. So she books. And 9 years go by, and her dad is now more in the public eye with just doing charity work and things like that. And he wants her to come back. She's taking a break from being she's like a world famous model. And she comes back to Chicago, and they need a security person because he's had threats put against him. And Dante is now working at a security firm, and he's now going to be the bodyguard. So they're going to meet, and he's going to soon discover, oh, I have a secret baby. Yeah, a secret child at this point. He's 9 years old. So this is a second chance, secret child, bodyguard-ish romance. I gave it a 4 stars. It set up the next book really well. And I know the next book is a lot of people's favorite because it's like the cowboy, you know. So it was good. I enjoyed it. Was it my favorite? No. Nothing is ever going to beat Brutal Prince. You just can't do that for me. But it was still solid. 4 stars. And then from there, I told you it was the month of just like continuing series. I finally did it. I finally read Heartless. And I tabbed. Look at this. I tabbed it. She don't tab, but I tabbed this. And I'm not going to go too much into detail, because I did do a whole reading spoiler vlog where like I talked about all my favorite parts, the funny parts, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But just know this is book 2 in the Chestnut Spring series. This is Cade and Willa's story. Willa was Summer's best friend in book 1, and Cade is Rhett's brother from book 1, and he is a single grumpy dad, and she is a spitfire, says what she means, says what she thinks, wild child who is in need of a job, and he is in need of a nanny. So that is pretty much the premise of this. This is small town, cowboy, age gap, nanny romance. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. So good. I love a grumpy man. 5 out of 5. Okay, for the next book, I don't have a copy of, so I gotta put the picture up. So I went on to another series. Stop it. I know. Okay. I was so fortunate that I got an ARC for Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. This is book 2 in the Sparrow Falls series. And it was still so good. It was so good. So in this book, we were following Thea and Shep. Thea was in book 1. She was working at the nursery with the heroine from book 1, and I can't remember the heroine's name. I feel like it starts with an R or an L. Oh, I don't know. And it's bugging me. But we saw her a little bit in the first book, and we knew that she was very standoffish. She didn't want a lot of close friends. She just, wasn't forming any kind of relationships. And then Shep is the heroine's foster brother from book 1. And I still don't know her name. It's fine. It's not important right now. So in this book, at the beginning, we see Thea, who was in a very serious toxic relationship. He was very manipulative. He was just abusive emotionally and verbally. So she books it. She leaves. She runs away. And she runs to the small town of Sparrow Falls, where she has no paper trail. She has no internet, no phone. She gets paid in cash. Like, she does not want to be found. And she found this little cabin house that she has been like fixing up. And one day she discovers that a water pipe breaks and she has to fix it, but she needs like a real plumber to be able to do that. And Shep just happens to own a construction company. So he says that he will help her. And during this time, something happens with his rental and he needs a place to stay. So she kind of lets her guard down and lets him stay at her house. So that's kind of where the relationship blossoms at. So this is definitely a small town. What did I say? This is small town, on the run, hidden identity, roommates, golden retriever, black cat. This man will do anything for her. He will support her. He just makes sure that she's okay and that she's safe and she feels safe. And she is a very much black cat. You know, she's very to herself, doesn't really trust anybody, doesn't let anyone in her home. So for her to let him in her home is a big deal. So I ended up, you would think I gave this a 5 stars because as much as I love it, I gave it a 4. And that's only because I have discovered that I enjoy myself a grumpy man. And if he's not grumpy, at some point in the book, there's just, it doesn't hit for me. So I gave this one a 4 stars. It was still really, really good. Like, don't get me wrong. It was really good. There's just something about a grumpy guy that I love. I just do. Okay, from there, I read a book that was actually on my August TBR. I know, who is she? Don't know. But I read the first book in the Wicked Wonderland duet, which the first book is Queen of Madness. Yes. And this is by Lee Jacquot. I'm assuming it's French. It looks very French to me. Jacquot. Sure, why not? Okay. So in this book, this is not an Alice in Wonderland retelling per se, but it is heavily influenced. Did I say Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland just then? This is not an Alice in Wonderland retelling per se. If I didn't, I meant to say Alice in Wonderland. It's very influenced by Alice in Wonderland. So our hero in this book, he has a younger sister and a mother, and he pretty much takes care of them because his mother has a lot of medical issues due to abusing substances when she was younger. And his sister, she tries to be so good. Like, and she is. She's a very good, like, girl and always trying to help people. And then one night, she comes across this white van. And I know this only happens in books because no one's going to a unmarked white van in real life. That's the stranger van. You don't do that. But she does, and she discovers that there are women in there who are being trafficked. So she helps them escape. Well, the family, the mafia family that had those women, comes to him, and they're like, hey, guess what? Your sister cost us like $12 million. So we gotta fix this. So they're like, you're going to do something for us. We're going to take your sister as like collateral until you do this. We need you to go and like infiltrate the opposing mafia family in town. There's like 2. There's probably more, but in this book, 2, it's the main 2. And they're like, we need you to get in the house, become her bodyguard, and let us know so we can like take her out. So that's what he does. And in this house, the head of the mafia just happens to be a woman named Onyx, and she is, I guess it's the Donna. I guess technically she would be a Donna, right? I think. But she's also known as like the Queen of Hearts because she leaves a calling card behind, and she does all her killing on her own. She is a baddie. She is a baddie. I will give her that. She's a baddie. But yeah, he becomes her bodyguard, and he soon develops feelings for her. The only thing is about this book, the train. The only thing about this book is there are so many points of view. Okay, we are getting the point of view of our hero. We are getting the point of view of our heroine, but it is in the past. So we're getting like 9-year-old Onyx, 14-year-old Onyx, 15-year-old Onyx to kind of let you know why she is the way she is. And we don't get her present point of view until about 90% into the book. And then we're getting the point of view of the Mad Hatter, so to speak, the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit, the Cheshire Cat, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and the caterpillar, like the caterpillar person. I can't remember what it was, but it like smoked the hookah or whatever. So like they're all in this book represented, so which was fun. But in all honesty, I just did not care. I did not care about the characters in this book. I did not connect. I did not care. So I ended up giving it a 3 stars, but It ends in a cliffhanger. So like, I want to know how, I want to know the next book. But honestly, just right now, I don't care to. So, Oh, it is dark though. Check your triggers. She dark. She dark. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay, the next book. The next book that I read was for Paige and I's book club for August. And so for August, we read a romance. And for that, we read this book right here, Sovereign, by Rhea Morris Edwards. This book, I am not going to rant. I am not going to rant because I ranted enough on the live show. So if you want to watch that and all our spoilery goodness, I will link that as well. This book is not it.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
Okay. This is supposed to be a dark romance, a dark cowboy romance featuring BDSM elements. Okay, BDSM relationship. No. This book is a Wish version of 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it's a fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey. And 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction, but it was written in a way that wasn't cringy. This book was so cringy and just, and the BDSM element of that, like, I'm like, did you even, like, do any research on it at first? Because it just didn't feel like she had. We're not, okay. Just, no, this book wasn't it. This book wasn't it. And I discovered in this book that I do not like degradation because there was a whole scene of degradation. And I was just like, skip. And to be fair, I did a lot of that in the end of the book because I was just done. I was done. This is not it. I gave it 2 stars. I didn't want to give it 1 because I felt bad, but I gave it 2. Which means this isn't even like a recommendation. I wouldn't even recommend this book. If you're like getting into BDSM or if you want to, there are other books I can recommend, but not that. So from there, I needed something that was going to get my attention, that was going to keep me focused because I felt a reading slump coming. I was like, nope, I can't. So you know what I did? I went to my handy dandy thriller section over there because that's what I do when I need something quick and easy that's going to catch my attention. And you know where I went to, and specifically, I went to the Frida McFadden section and I picked The Teacher. Now, I know this is not everyone's favorite. This is not everyone's cup of tea, but dang it if I didn't give it 5 stars. I didn't even give The Housemaid 5 stars. Like, The Housemaid was fine, but the twist was just like, in The Housemaid. Again, the twist in this was, but it was the last couple sentences of this book that made me go, what? Are you duh? I didn't even see that, okay? 5 stars. So, in this book, we are following the point of view of 2 females, a teacher at a high school and a student at that high school. And the teacher is married to another teacher in the high school, and she always describes him as like this beautiful man, this beautiful, gorgeous man who could have done anything, but he's at the school and all the women love him and all the students love him and yada, yada, yada. And then we're getting the point of view of the student at the school who was involved in a scandal the year prior that had to involve like stalking a teacher and possibly being in a relationship with said teacher, although she denies it in the book. So you kind of get where we're going with this book. So the student does end up being in a relationship with the teacher's husband. So that is a trigger warning. I feel like that's important. If you have any triggers with grooming or anything like that, that's something you should know. And we're just getting those 2 points of view until part 2, where we add the husband's point of view. He's just icky. He's just an icky man. But what I love about Frida McFadden is that she takes just side characters that I was like, oh, they're just there to like fill the plot. Like they're not anyone special or important. And then you realize, holy crap, it all comes full circle and they're all involved and they're all important parts. I'm like, shut up. This was so good. Like 5 stars. 5 stars. Okay. From there, oh my gosh. Okay. So from there, I was like, you know what? It's time. It is time. Yes. I wanted to read this and I've been putting it off all summer. and I finally did it. And I was going to vlog. I really was going to vlog this, but I just started reading it and I couldn't stop, and I didn't want to stop to vlog. That's all. That's completely valid, okay? Because this book hooks you, keeps you the whole way through. We've got Hills of Shivers and Shadows by Pam Godwin. This was my first Pam Godwin. It will not be my last. I will go and read all of her stuff now. Okay, this is a dark romance, and listen. Triggers and content warning. This is dark. Now, I am not going to put the triggers down in the description. I am going to put her website link so you can go and see for yourself if you need to. I would personally go in blind. If you can do it, go in blind, because it just makes the experience so much better. But to protect you and your mental health, if you have any triggers, please be sure to check them out, because this is very dark. Even Pam Godwin has like 2 levels of triggers. One, which is like just basic triggers, and then level 2, which is more like content warnings, which can be spoilery. So I'm not going to put any. I'm not putting any. Don't go to Goodreads either. Do not go to Goodreads and read the synopsis, because when you get down to the end, it has the triggers. Don't do that. If you want to go in blind, don't do that. Okay. I'm going to tell you what you need to know about this book, so you can decide if you want to read it. Okay. So we are following Frankie. Frankie lives up in Sitka, Alaska, on like this private island with her husband. He is very well to do. Like, the house is immaculate. They own like a yacht. It's very, very bougie, but very isolated. And she finds out that she's pregnant at the beginning of the book. And her husband is like, oh no. We're not doing that. I had a vasectomy. No. He's like, I will go with you. I will hold your hand during the procedure, but we are not having any children. And she is very the opposite. She's like, I want to keep this child. So they get into this argument, and he tells her, I'm going to go to work, and then we'll come home and we'll discuss it. So he leaves on his yacht, and he goes to the mainland where he works. And she is home alone, and she's like, you know what? I know he's not going to change. I know my husband. It just is what it is. So she packs up all her belongings and puts it into the boat so she can leave. And as she's standing there out the window trying to contemplate if she wants to leave or not, she gets attacked by a man named Denver. And he takes her and kidnaps her and puts her in her own boat, takes her to a bush plane, which then takes her all the way up to the Arctic Circle where he lives. And when he gets to the Arctic Circle, he lives on this, like, it's not a compound, but it's his house, and he's got like different little buildings, and he lives there with his 3 adult sons. And the only way in or out is by the plane, and the only person who can drive the plane is Denver. So now we as in all of us, are stuck up here in the Arctic Circle right before the harsh winter, and she is there with his sons, and she does not know what she is there for. I did not know what she was there for. And then when I found out what she was there for, this book was so freaking good. This book was 5 stars. This book was so good. So heartbreaking. Just so... I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just read it. It's big, yes, but it's needed. It's so good. So good. This is definitely going to be a favorite of the year. And so I should tell you that I read this and I listened to it simultaneously. And it's a duet narration, which means that, the women speak at the women parts and the men speak at the men parts interchangeably in the chapters. And I have come to discover I love duet narration. So if you have any books that have duet narration, leave them down below, because I want to read them all and listen to them all, because I just love that. I absolutely love that. 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend, but highly, highly check your triggers if you have any. But if you don't, or you can handle it, go in blind. Just do not read reviews. Just go in completely blind. I told you what you needed to know. That's it. And then, for the last book, I don't even know how long this video is. I am so sorry. I am such a talker. Gosh darn it. Okay, so the last book that I recently read was Parallel by Elle O'Rourke, or Elizabeth O'Rourke. And this is book 1 in the Parallel series. So in this book, we are following Quinn. And Quinn is a woman who, when she was younger, would have these very, very vivid dreams of a man who was her husband named Nick. And she was very adamant. She's like, that's my husband, that's my husband, that's my husband. And when you're 4 or 5 and you're hearing your child say that, you're like, something's wrong with my child. So her parents, you know, the good parents that they were, decide to take her to therapy. And through therapy and processing, she discovers, okay, they were just dreams. It's nothing. Years later, she is now engaged to be married to a man that I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, I am terrible with names. Can't remember his name. But she starts having these really bad headaches again, because she had them in the past, but she's having them again. So she's at the doctor. And this neurologist comes walking in. And that neurologist just happens to be Nick, the man that she was dreaming about when she was younger. And she's like, oh my gosh, that he's real. That's him. That's who I was dreaming about. And he just happens to know a lot of things about Quinn. Things that he shouldn't know because he's never met her before, but like he knows her favorite food. He knows all this different stuff about her. So they start connecting because 1, he's trying to help her figure out what's wrong, like going on in her brain with the headaches. And 2, they're very connected to each other. So what's going on in this? I'm going to tell you. This is a time travel book. So there we go. Something's going on. She is time traveling, and that is how they know each other. So this is book 1. This was so good. This was such a great start. It ends on a cliffhanger though. So like, oh, as did this. If I didn't say, I don't think I did. This ends in a cliffhanger as well. But yeah, ends in a cliffhanger. So I gotta read the rest of the books. So good. I give it a 5 stars. Highly enjoyed. It's short. It's like 200 and some pages, which we love. I love a short book. It just makes me feel accomplished. Loved it. Okay. Those are all the books. Those are the last 9 books that I read in the past, I guess, 2 months. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or if you just want to leave me like what your last favorite read was, you could do that. Or if you don't want to leave a wordy comment, I get it. I'm a silent watcher as well. But if you want to let me know that you were here, just leave me like a clock emoji. I think there is one. There's some sort of clock face emoji, right? Yeah. But if you're new here and enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you are new. All my social media is linked down below as always. If you just want to follow like my Goodreads or my Instagram, because I am more active over there than I am on YouTube, which is only once a week. And before I go, I just want to give you a little heads up of what's coming on my channel. So next week I will have my fall TBR video going up. And then the week after will be romances that have been on my radar lately, that I've been seeing come out, that have been piquing my interest. And then we will have my October TBR after that, and then the week after that will be a September haul. You know the hauls are coming. You know they're never going to stop. Just like at this point, it's my channel. It's my aesthetic. It's the hauls. But I hope you guys are having a great day or evening or night, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.